Hello, what's going on guys, this is CNM Gaming, welcome back, and today I'm going to be talking about the balance changes that are coming out next Tuesday on the 24th of April. There's so many changes that they're adding in. There's a few things that aren't in there, like crucial things that I think need to be put into the next balance, unfortunately, but I'll talk about it at the end. I'm going to first start talking about the buffs, try and go through this pretty quickly, and I'm going to put a game on whilst I'm talking about it. Now the first thing that's come up on the buff list is a 3% damage to the Dark Goblin. So basically it does 96 damage now instead of 93, so it now 2-shots minions, which is a crucial interaction. And another thing I'm happy about is they boosted Knight's HP back up by 3%, so it's now got a total HP of 1350 instead of 1314, which it is right now. And the next thing is they're adding an extra skeleton to the skeleton barrel, as I predicted on the last video, and going from 8 to 6 was just a bit too dramatic, so I'm glad they got it back up to 7, because then I think it'll be one of the most balanced cards in the game. The next one I'm going to talk about, which is probably one of the most crucial ones, and one of the ones I predicted on yesterday's video, was an extra half a tile range for the Barbarian barrel, excuse me. It now hits the King Tower when you've taken out one of the Princess Towers, and what it means is the Barbarian, once it comes out of the barrel, is going to reach the tower quicker, so it's probably going to be used quite a bit more often. Now, one of the crucial buffs I think that has come out that I'm really happy about is the extra half a tile radius for lightning, which is going to make it so much more popular now, and I'm really happy about that. Now, this one is sort of a fix and not a buff, but the Hunter's close range has improved. It would originally have problems shooting targets that were like right above him or near him, and now they fixed it so it hit targets as normal, as if they were, say, a few tiles away. And another one that I'm happy to see that I brought up in the last video was the Magic Archer, as now the Magic Archer's aim is more accurate and its projectile is slightly fastened, and not fastened, it's slightly faster, and it sort of has like a honing effect on targets. He can like hit spawners better now, so like skeletons from Tombstone and like goblins from Goblin Hut and fire spirits from Furnace. It will hit them properly now, unlike before where it used to just miss a lot of them. Another thing that they've also done as well is they've fixed the Sparky, which when the Sparky was fully charged, if it was knocked back by a log or something and it got put out of range of its target, it would have its charge reset, which shouldn't happen. So they fixed it now, so when it's knocked back, it stays charged and then will hit the enemy once it gets within range again. So that is all the buffs. And now we're going to be moving on to some of the nerfs. Now, some of these nerfs are pretty good, and I think are going to balance the game out quite a bit. Starting off with the Dark Prince, as practically everyone suspected, had a minus 25% shield HP. So basically, important interactions like with the wizard now can one-shot the Dark Prince's shield, which is quite a big change. But overall, the Dark Prince has only lost 5% of its overall HP. So, with this Dark Prince nerf, what this means is with the shield now has the same HP as guards do. Now, moving on to Spear Goblins, that are the next nerf. In some of the previous updates, I think it was the December one, Spear Goblins' attack speed went from 1.3 seconds to 1.1, and now Spear Goblins are a little bit OP lately, so now I hope it's a happy medium at 1.2 hit speed, and I feel like Spear Goblins should be really balanced from now on. The next one is Ice Spirit, which I don't agree with too much, and it's minus half a second duration for the freeze. I think that's a bit much. I think they should have done it by, say, 0.3 seconds, and so it still lasts like 1.2, I think is a bit too much, and I think they'll need to revert that a bit in the next balanced one after. The next one following that is Tornado. Tornado has also had a half second duration decrease in time for how much is being used, and I feel like that's great because Tornado is a bit OP, and to be honest, it needed this so much, and I think it will now balance out the card. And finally, I'm going to go on to stuff that they fixed in this update. So for example, they fixed in this update Cannon Cart. Before, when troops were by the cannon cart, when it switched from the cart to a cannon, some of the troops wouldn't target it like giant in certain situations, so that has now been fixed. Also, the Mega Knight jump, when it goes to like a second jump and it stutters for a bit, that has been fixed as well. One of the main ones is also when the witch is locking onto a tower, it will sometimes change target when there were troops around it near its skeletons, which has now been fixed, and I've had that in a few games myself, so I'm happy that's been sorted. One of the last fixes is Flying Machine, and that when, in general, flying troops were hit by, like, say, Fireball, on site the river, it would sort of change tile, but now they fixed it, because they're in the air, and so it shouldn't affect them that way. So now it just knocks them back and doesn't change them onto a different tile. One of the last ones, and quite unexpected ones, was now spells can be deployed on the river. So like right now, if you try it out, you can only place a spell on like one half the river and then the other. Now you can place it completely on the middle, which is sort of fun, but at the same time there's not really too much benefits to that, I don't think. I'd like to conclude this video by talking about some of the stuff they missed, and there's actually a few crucial cards that they haven't mentioned in this balance update, and I'm kind of really disappointed about, and that one is pretty obvious: Mega Knight. No buff to Mega Knight after its massive nerf last update. Virtually no one uses it. It got the same use rate as Sparky, and that's the lowest out of the legendaries, and it has not been buffed. I think that's a massive mistake by Supercell, to be fair, and I hope they bring it out a buff for it in the next balance date afterwards. Another thing that they haven't done is nerf the HP of the Goblin Hut. I don't know why. It's so big, and I think if they did like a 20-25% HP nerf on it, Lightning can almost take it out, and it makes Fireball more worth it. It's just too much of a good defensive card, a distraction, and also good for counter pushes. It needs an immediate nerf soon, and I don't know why that hasn't been done. So those two cards, personally, I think need changed, and it's disappointing that that hasn't happened. But apart from that, they've done a really good job on the other like 12 cards I have mentioned already. The only last thing I would also have liked to seen is a quicker fire deployment from arrows and Fireball, as now all these goblins and little troops have been like nerfed, like spear goblins and like ice spirit. The poison is still going to have an effect because people won't be using arrows and Fireball as much, and because the smaller stuff has been nerfed slightly, I wouldn't be surprised if Golem Beatdown decks is still going to be as good in the next part of Clash Royale after this update. But I'm really excited about all the stuff they're changing, but it's a shame they didn't change those few crucial bits. I would have brought you this video like 3 or 4 hours earlier, but I had stuff going on. But if anything else comes up in the next few days leading up to the Clan Wars update, I will let you guys know and post on it as fast as I can. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. As always, like it and subscribe if you did enjoy it, and feel free to comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.